Today on Cutler's Court.
You are giving an ultimatum today.
Yes.
You want Ms. Rodriguez to notify the ex today in our courtroom that you it.
Right.
You're the one.
I would like to know that I am a priority in her life moving forward.
And not the ex.
Right, and not the ex. I want to make sure that everybody knows that we are prioritizing each other before anybody else.
Ms. Rodriguez, are you willing to make that call today from our courtroom?
We'll find out today. Will he stay or will he go? This is Cutler's Court. Davion Hicks is bringing his girlfriend to court with an ultimatum. Leave her ex in the past so they can move forward in their relationship, or he will walk away for good. Yasmilyn Rodriguez is frustrated with her boyfriend's baseless suspicions. She has 2 children with her ex, and her boyfriend needs to be more understanding of their co-parenting situation.
Your Honor, this is case 1079, Hicks versus Rodriguez.
Thank you, sir. Good day, everyone.
Good morning. How you doing?
We're good. Mr. Hicks, you have brought your girlfriend because you want the ex to disappear from your relationship. Is that correct?
Along those lines, yes, ma'am.
All right, tell me your story. What's going on?
Okay, well, Yaz and I met about 7 months ago. We met at a hookah lounge. Obviously, we formed a bond and we caught feelings. So what I am asking for is commitment. I would like to be included. I want to be a priority, prioritized. I'm also seeking open and honest communication.
All right. Well, it doesn't sound like unreasonable request.
Yeah.
I think most relationships need to have some commitment. You have to feel like you're a priority. You got to have good communications, and Lord knows you need grace. So I don't find these requests outrageous. Ms. Rodriguez, what's going on from your side of this table?
So I'm gonna start from the beginning. I'm from Dominican Republic, so I came here when I was 3, and then moving on forward, I met my biological mother at 15. I was in foster care throughout my teenage years. I was in 2 domestic violence relationships that I had to, be resilient from as a teenager. I went into school for social work, and I just recently obtained my master's as a clinical social worker.
Congratulations.
And thank you. I have 2 boys, so I am 25, and I managed to be a mother of 2 boys while obtaining my degree, while also trying to become and grow as a character. But within time, I became very self-reflective of my character and how I speak to people. And so I'm a very open book. I keep it black or white. I keep it straightforward. I don't hide nothing.
So you are transparent.
I'm very transparent. So I really try to practice. Yes, I'm blunt, but how am I going to say this to this person? Because of my field of work, I have to practice those things.
Okay, so let me stop you there. What I'm hearing is that you are transparent. You don't try to play games. When you say blue, it's blue.
100%.
But you try not to be rude about it, but
Right.
it's like matter of fact.
Right.
So, Mr. Hicks, do you find that to be true about her? She's
Very
very
true.
direct, very blunt.
Yes, sir.
How do you like that?
Sometimes her bluntness comes randomly, and I'm not ready for it. So when I receive it, I'm just like, oh, wow.
It's not what you were used to in terms of communication with a significant other. It was different. Is that safe to say?
That is safe to say, yes, ma'am.
Blunt can be like, that's ugly. I mean, that's blunt.
Right.
But is it more the fact that she is very direct with you about what's happening?
It's not about the bluntness. I actually love the bluntness. It's more about the miscommunication.
Okay.
I'm not used to the way she explains things. We had a miscommunication, let's say about 2 months ago. There was a situation where her contract at her job ran out. She called me. She was worried and concerned. She let me know the situation. The situation was, I don't have a contract for the next 2 months. I have children, and I need a place to stay. So we came up with a couple options. Option 1, we could just pay where she was staying. You can move in with me. And option 3, I didn't necessarily like, but you can move in with your baby daddy. I'm driving to work. We're having that conversation. My lunch break was over, so I had to go back to work.
Okay. You didn't resolve it during the
We did
conversation.
not resolve
You just
it.
had the option.
Correct.
Okay.
I call her when I get off, and the decision was already made. So she calls me, and she's like, hey, I just got off the phone with my ex, and I told him that I'm moving in with him.
So what were you more upset about? Were you upset about the fact that you were still at the option stage and we will pick up this conversation later, or the fact that she was actually moving in with her ex?
I was more upset of the fact that the option phase didn't get decided with me.
So your preference would have been you pick up the conversation, say, okay, we have A, B, and C. How do we want to do this? And if the decision had been, yeah, the best move is to move in with your ex, you all made that decision together.
Correct.
I'm thinking in her mind, she's like, well, we did talk about it, and we came with the options, and so it's decision-making time. She's had to make decisions all her life for her. Yeah. And it's like, okay, we did discuss it. So I guess that was kind of a miscommunication because you thought, okay, we'll pick it up later, and you're thinking, okay, we talked about it, and you laid out the options, and so this is the option I'm choosing.
Right.
Okay, so did y'all end up moving in together ultimately?
We went with the option of allowing her to have space and her staying where she's at. So we just came up with the money, paid her rent, so she could stay where she's at.
All right.
So, Ms. Rodriguez, do you believe that your ex is more in your life than he should be?
No, I feel like we're very great friends. We were together for 7 years.
Do you understand why Mr. Hicks thinks your ex is too involved in your life?
Yeah, I feel like he has explained to me you feel more comfortable with telling him stuff versus me. And I'm like, well, when I come to you and I tell you about my feelings and I tell you about these things, you get defense mode instead of reflecting to my feelings. You make it about you.
Give me an example of that, what you're talking about, where you go to him, you have a conversation, and you're like, dude, that's not where this was headed.
When me and him first started back in January, I messaged him a day after Valentine's Day. We had a great day on Valentine's Day, and I messaged him. I was like, hey, I just want to say I love what we're doing. I just want to make sure we don't lose ourselves in this relationship because I've lost myself once before, and I want to make sure I go back to being who I am, working out, and not stopping those things because I'm so invested in you. Yes. And I don't want you so invested in me either. We need to make sure we also have our friends and make sure we do our thing and be together. He took it as like, oh, you just don't want nothing to do with me.
Up next.
If you get in my face and you give me an attitude, I'm going to leave. Because I told him I'm not ready for a relationship. I feel like it would not be fair for me to get into a relationship because of my past, and I never want to compare my past to my present. So he knew what I need.
And do you think he is that person?
I messaged him the day after Valentine's Day. We had a great day on Valentine's Day, and I messaged him. I was like, hey, I love what we're doing. I just want to make sure we don't lose ourselves in this relationship because I'm so invested in you, and I don't want you so invested in me either. He took it as like, oh, you just don't want nothing to do with me.
As you were saying that, I'm like, I know exactly how that landed. I know exactly
it's
how
like,
that landed.
I did all this for you on Valentine's Day, and your response is, that's too much.
Yeah, I think
Back
we
up.
need to make sure we
Slow it
keep
down.
time for ourselves and we
Yes.
don't get too much into this. And
Is that what happened?
So that would be an example of the awkward bluntness. Like it came at a
Like,
random time to me. You know, so it went from this awesome feeling and then it's like the next morning, oh, well, whoa, slow down. I know yesterday was great. And I kind of took that like, wow, you're already kicking me to the curb or pushing me to the side. I didn't know how to feel about that message.
Yeah.
And she literally did put in the message. It sounded beautiful saying it here. I responded about 17 times.
Oh, because
Yeah.
you weren't overthinking it.
He
But
was
I-
overthinking it, and I knew it. And I was like, stop overthinking it. I like you a lot. I'm just saying, let's keep doing our thing.
I responded 17 times, but I sent none.
Oh, okay.
So,
wow.
I would write something and then I had to delete it. I would write something and then I
Right,
had
and
to delete it.
and I was
'cause
like-
I kept thinking like, okay, she did say don't overthink it. Don't
But
overthink it.
I'm doing
line,
exactly what she said.
but
don't
line
do.
2 says,
So we got the communication. Who is above you in terms of priority from your viewpoint?
and from my viewpoint, her ex. And there's a couple of reasons why I say that.
I was getting ready to say, tell me why.
She's co-parenting, which I understand and respect. Like I said, there was a situation where we talked about the options. One of those options was paying the rent where she's currently at. I offered to pay that. and her ex ended up paying it.
And you were upset because?
Kind of hurt my feelings.
But did you consider the perspective of him providing a place for his children to be? That,
Yes.
okay, she is in need of rent, and she's there with my kids, I'm the ex, and so I need to make sure my kids have somewhere to be and not out on the street. Did you consider that perspective?
I considered that something that should have been thought about, this whole entire time. Like, why wait until this week or this month to think about that? Like, why didn't you think and provide that from the start?
All right. So let's suppose Ms. Rodriguez has a bad day at work and she needs somebody to talk to. In your mind, who is she more likely to call, you or her ex?
In my mind, who is she more likely to open? I believe she'll call me.
Okay.
But I think she'd be more truthful and more relaxed telling her ex the situation.
Okay, and why do you believe that?
That was a big problem towards the beginning of the relationship. Like she mentioned earlier, I had a bunch of questions like, why are you so nice to him? How come every time he does this, that happens, and when I do this, this happens? I just wanted to get an understanding of that.
I don't disagree with it, but I do want to say my piece about it.
Okay.
Yes, I get defense mode and I shut down because I believe you want me to talk to you a certain way, but I want that same thing. If you have, hey, yo, I don't want to listen to, I shut down because now I'm in defense mode. And you also shut down. He will also shut down. But you know what I do? I take one for the team and I eat that up and I'm like, hey, what's wrong? And I see myself doing that more often. Because I've been through domestic, if you get in my face and you give me an attitude, I'm going to leave. Because when we first met, I told him, I feel like it will not be fair for me to get into a relationship because of my past, and I never want to compare my past to my present. And me and him are just friends as I'm saying this. And he asked me a question, well, do you think you can heal with somebody? I'm like, if it's the right person, if they're willing to give me grace, if they're patient with me because of my past traumas, if they are patient, I believe that can happen. So he knew what I needed. I told him exactly what I wanted in a man. I need somebody patient, somebody that gives me grace, somebody who understands.
And do you think he is that person?
Up next.
Her traumas, I can meet you halfway, but I can't take the backlash from something I didn't do.
You come with your history, whatever that is. Some history is really, dang.
When we first met, I told him, I'm not ready for a relationship. I feel like it will not be fair for me to get into a relationship because of my past, and I never want to compare my past to my present. And he asked me a question, well, do you think you can heal with somebody? I'm like, if it's the right person.
And do you think he is that person?
I feel like he can be.
What does he need to actually be that person?
I want him to be more self-reflective. I want him to not feel like, some men have a stigma, I gotta be a man. If you give a woman what she wants, she'll be so submissive to you. And I give him the world, and he knows that. But he got to meet me halfway. He gotta give me. I can't just fill his cup. I need my cup filled too.
Well, did you hear what she said?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
and what do you think about that?
I agree.
Look, our work is done. Come on.
All right.
We
You
through.
ready?
We through.
I agree, but at the same time, like, her traumas, I can meet you halfway, but I can't take the backlash from something I didn't do. My past experience, we grew up in two totally separate households. I grew up with my grandparents. My grandmother died when I was 11. So I only have a male perspective on how to love a woman. I don't
Okay.
have a mother's perspective on how to love a woman and how to give her grace.
You come with your history, whatever that is. Some history is really like, dang. Nobody comes to the table unscathed. So that is the challenge of a relationship. The challenge is, do I accept you and love you as you are today? And more importantly, can I accept and love the person you're going to become?
It sounds like you all are at the beginning stages of a relationship. You've been together about 7 months, right? Okay, and you're kind of learning about each other, learning about the way you do things, and there is some adaptation that needs to take place. The question is, at this point, and I'll start with Ms. Rodriguez, do you believe that there is any major impediment to your relationship that's going to keep this from going forward?
Yeah, I just want to feel like he got me no matter what, because I got him no matter what. I need him to see me as his woman, as his girlfriend, not as an enemy.
So, Mr. Hicks, in order for this relationship to move forward, is there some big problem that you just got to get over, and you all have to get over before this relationship can really blossom?
I would like to know that I am a priority, like, in her life moving forward.
And not the ex.
Right, and not the ex. I want to make sure that everybody knows that we are prioritizing each other before anybody else.
So in your court papers, it says that you are giving an ultimatum today.
Yes.
And that it is that you want Ms. Rodriguez to notify the ex today in our courtroom that you it.
Right.
You're the one.
We can't keep going back and forth. I just don't want any interruptions. You know, I don't want interruptions 6 days from now, 6 months from now. Like, what we are working on, I see a future with.
And you understand that she still has to co-parent with this person, but
Yes.
he needs to understand you are the man, he's the co-parent. Is that
Correct.
fair?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Ms. Rodriguez, are you willing to make that call today from our courtroom?
What we need to know from you right now is, are you going to make the call to your ex?
I need somebody to get my phone.
All right.
All right?
Tasha, would you get Ms. Rodriguez's phone, please?
Yes, sir.
I'm just calling you just to talk about, you know, me and Davon had a conversation, and I just want to make sure you know, like, he's my man, I'm with him, and we're just co-parenting. And he's the one that I'm going to be with.
Yeah, I know.
I just wanted to make things clear. That's all.
Yeah, you're good.
All right, well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So at this point, you have had your ultimatum. She has met it, exceeded it. It's clear. Now, we're going to give you all some quick advice. Both of you are right. I think the issue is that sometimes you just need to, somebody has to say, you know what, this ain't worth it. You got to pick your fights. Everything can't be World War III.
And in your case, Mr. Hicks, I think that sometimes you come off as rigid, like this is the way it needs to be, and if she is blunt in her approach to it and it doesn't comport with what you know, it's almost like you shut down, or it's like, and you're gonna have to be more forgiving, more accommodating, because it's, again, in this stage of the relationship, you're gonna run into all kinds of issues like that. And if you all can't talk about it, if one of you shuts down, because I don't get the impression she's shutting down, she's probably, you know, more at you like this, and another thing, and I'm just an open book, so I'm gonna tell you. And if you just shut down, then that's probably not gonna work. You all have to learn how to communicate effectively. And that's gonna be your biggest challenge that I see.
Right.
Right. So we wish you all the best of luck.
Cute as a button. Y'all are cute couples, so, you know, I'm here for it.
So that is the determination of the court, and the court is adjourned.
With her reaching out to her ex, it made me feel a lot more comfortable and prioritized.
I have nothing to hide. I've been straightforward since day one. A call is easy because I've been clear, very clear to my children's father, and very clear to him that he is my man and my child's father isn't.